Change mine. How you gon' act? I just want some privacy, someone to have my back. Blow it out occasionally. Is that too much to ask? Take all my fucking problems and just put it in the past. Take a fucking risk and just stick it in the ass. Okay, now stick it in the ass.
What's up? It's your girl Lala. What's up, Lala gang? I'm here to tell the first time like I seen my father's side of the family after like 10 years of not seeing them. Sorry that I got a body on, y'all. I'm ratchet today. I'm in babysitting mode, all that. So what happened was I had got in contact with my aunt, who I heard about her so much. Everybody was like, oh, I'm in love with this lady and stuff. I'm like, that's my aunt, you know, because I had this lady that used to be chilling around the house, came around with a paper of this lady that was in jail. So my mother was like, that's your aunt, Sunshine. So I'm like, okay, she pretty, you know, all of that. So then what I did was I looked up her, you know, like when she gonna get out and all that type shit. And I looked all of that up, and I realized that she got out already. So what I did was I contacted my brother from my father's side. And when I contacted him, they let me know that like my aunt Sunshine was, you know, she was out. So I contacted my aunt Sunshine through Facebook. When I contacted her, she was nice, she was pleasant. I met her for the first time. I cried. Like, I was like, she's so sweet, she's so dope. She was like, you remind me a lot of myself when you was younger. So after that, we kept in contact. After that, I tried to get in contact with my grandmother. And then I tried to get in contact with my father and my father's side of the family. After I got in contact with my grandmother, it was cool. We was contacting. She wanted me to come down and stay with her. I came down and stayed with her. Everything was copacetic. But it took me months and months and months and months to go live with her, because I didn't know who she was. I didn't know her from a can of paint, so it took me months to get to know her, conversate with her through social media and through the phone, and talk to her. But like after like almost a year of saying I was coming, I finally went. So I finally went to go live with my grandmother, and my dad was coming out that December. So when I was living with my grandmother, I moved in with my grandmother on September. My dad was coming in December. I moved in with my grandmother in Roanoke, Virginia. She had a two-bedroom apartment. I stayed in one bedroom, and she stayed in another one. She had a big living room. She had a big kitchen. Her bathroom was good. All of that, everything was cool. Me and her was cool. We was loving on each other. I got to meet so much family. But before I got down here, I already had an altercation with one of her grandchildren, because she felt like because I haven't been around them, like she can disrespect me and tell me like, oh, I'm not his child, or we got to get a DNA test. Little do they know, my father and my mother had a DNA test done when I was a baby, and my father didn't want the results because he already knew that that he was the father, you know. So me living down with my grandmother, she came over to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother like, say hi to your cousin, and I just looked at her like, I'm not about to say hi to you because you already know what it is. Like, we don't like each other. So the fact that we didn't like each other, I didn't say nothing. So my grandmother was like, please just say hi, for the simple fact. So I said hi to her, and she got smart. So I got smart back. It was just like, I'm going to get the same energy that you're going to give me. I'm going to give it right back to you. Period. So after that, I was living with my grandmother. My grandmother, she left my grandmother's house, and my grandmother and me started bonding. But then what I realized, like, my grandmother was different from the way I portrayed her to be. Like, she wanted me to do what she say and how she say, like I wasn't grown. She wanted me to spend my money on what she wanted me to spend my money on, and that wasn't how I rolled. I love my grandmother to death, but at this time, so me and my grandmother started getting into arguments. She started, she was telling me things, and I started, saying them. She put me out in the middle of Roanoke with nowhere to go. I didn't know nobody. I was new to there. I didn't really have no family out there. So what happened was, one day, a couple of days before my dad was supposed to come home, A couple of days before my dad was supposed to come home, she put me out, and I went to go by my, matter of fact, this is a story of her putting me out. I went by my uncle and them house because me and my grandmother was arguing. And we was arguing, and I went by my uncle's house. When I was by my uncle's house, she started calling my uncle's phone. Oh, blah, blah this, blah, blah that. She started calling my uncle a faggot, how he was, she started calling him all his names so bad, it wasn't even funny. So after that, I was just like, I can't take it. Like, and then what happened was she told the one that I was arguing with already, like, she let her know, like, me and her was arguing. So she sent the girl over there to try to fight me. And the girl had a knife in her hand on some, I'm gonna cut you type shit. So what she didn't know was I had a knife in my bra. Because I don't know y'all people, and I'm not gonna trust y'all. So what happened was my uncles and them was at my other uncle's house that my grandmother was going against, because she didn't like the fact that he took my side, and he felt like, okay, you had her come all the way down here to be around her father, but then you put her through so much bull crap. So then she sent the girl over there. The girl was like, da-da-da-da, you're not going to be talking to my grandma. Like I said, I didn't even talk to her no type of way. So it is what it is. I'm standing right here. She's right here in front of my face. If you want to fight me, why haven't you fight me? We right in front of each other's face. Why haven't we fought? So my uncle and them took her into this bedroom that my uncle had in here. She's trying to get out of the door, trying to fight me, because she think I'm talking about her in the living room, and I'm having a whole different conversation. So my thing is, we was right in front of each other. Why you wait until you go in the room with my uncles and them, knowing that they gonna stop you and try to fight? Because you couldn't fight, period. So after that, I didn't talk to my grandmother. I didn't talk to my grandmother for the rest of the days that I was there. I was waiting for my direct deposit to come through so I can go home. But before that, my father was coming home. The day that I picked to go back home, my father was coming home the day before. So when my father came home, I was crying. I was sentimental. We both showed up to where my father was at the same time. So my grandmother was trying to be nice. She was trying to be loving and caring, like she cared about me, like me and everything was good. And in reality, my father didn't know nothing. So when my father came home, I gave my father a hug. I took all his stuff, and I was like, "Come on, I'm gonna take you." But my grandmother, she had her own ride for him. So after that, my dad went with my grandmother. He gave me his desk player, so he had to come get it from my uncle's house, but he couldn't come get it from my uncle's house because him and my uncle had an altercation before he went to jail. So there was a restraining order put into place because what my grandmother was telling my dad, but my dad said he was never going to do anything to my uncle. It was just what my grandmother was saying. You know what I mean? So after that and all that shit happened, my dad was over at my grandmother's house, and everybody was going over there, even my uncle, but I couldn't go over there because me and my grandmother wasn't getting along. So what I did was I had walked over there with my uncle, because my uncle was like, "This is your dad. You don't have to go in her house. You can stand outside her house. What you gonna do, call the police?" So I went over there, but when I got to right there by where my dad was at, I seen him giving so much love to this little girl that he called his daughter. And I felt like, where was that love when I was young? Where was you when I was young and I needed a father? You wasn't around, but you giving love to this little girl who needed a father when you have kids of your own that you didn't step up and be a man to. So it kind of hurt me, and I walked around the corner, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not finna chase her." So I was like, "I didn't ask you to chase me." So what happened was my uncle Ed came around the corner, and he talked to me. He was like, "Your father can't leave the premises because his parole officer is coming." So I was like, okay, he can come around the corner if you want to have a conversation. So I was telling him and let him know, deep down inside, like, listen, I've been wanting you in my life since I was a baby. Like, you haven't been there. You wasn't there to protect me from all the wrath that was going on or all the damages that was being brought through. So in the end, it was just like, he still didn't understand. So what happened was, I had went back to my uncle's house, and I had stayed with my uncle and them for a couple of weeks. Me and my uncle's wife got into it because she felt like she could say whatever she wanted to me. So when me and her got into it, me and his wife got into it because she was bipolar, schizophrenic, and she thought everything was about her. Me and her got into it. Then I went to a shelter, an all-women shelter. And when I went to an old women's shelter, that's when I called my mom and let my mom know what was everything was going down. My mom was like, I told you so. I told you not to go down there with them people because I knew all they was going to do was hurt you, which was the truth. Like, when I got down there, I just was expecting my family to take me in with consideration, and my grandmother put me out. Then I got into an argument with my uncle, and not even my uncle, but my uncle's wife. And he put me out because his wife said so. So after that, I was in a women's shelter. After that, I was in a women's shelter. I had to get up at 6:30 in the morning, go outside. I didn't know nothing. Matter of fact, not after that. I stayed with a friend. I was staying with a friend, and that friend liked me, but she also was having issues with her nigga that was on the side. She liked me, but I wasn't giving her I like her back vibes. So then me and her got into it, and I left, and I went to go stay in the shelter. Then I went to go stay in the shelter. That's when I contacted my mom, and my mom was trying to get anybody to help me get back to Jersey. So then that's when I had my bank account, and my bank account, money just went missing from my bank account weeks before that. So the money that was missing, and they did the investigation, came back to my bank account within a day of me being in the shelter. So no, within 3 days of me being at the shelter. So then I got out of the shelter. I booked my flight back home, and I went home. So when I got home, I cried to my mother, let her know what was going on. I called my dad. Before I left, I bought my dad a phone, everything, so I keep in contact with him, so I don't have to go through nobody else to go. So when I kept on calling my dad, and my grandmother kept on picking up and hanging up. So when he finally picked up, I'm like, why is she picking up? So what hurt me the most is when I was talking to my dad, and I was like, I don't understand why your family won't accept me. And he was like, because you're a little bit on the heavy side, and most of us are skinny. I'm more like his sister that passed away. I'm more on the heavy side. So then at one point he told me, because I was big, or because I was darker than his other kids, or I wasn't as skinny, or I didn't have enough features, that I wasn't his child. And it hurt me because it made me go into depression. It made me go into bipolar rages. It made me not love myself. It made me want to kill myself. It made me really think, like, why do this man not care for me? Why do he not love me the way I want him to love me? Like, why is my father not here in my life? But then after that, all I was thinking about was the simple fact of, he gonna learn. Because when I write my book, I'm going to tell it all. But that was the story of me meeting my father's side of the family, and then meeting my father's side of the family, and I'm just wasn't everything I was. But don't forget to like, comment, share, tell a friend about Lala Gang, and make sure you subscribe.
Gee, I think you're amazing. I want you to myself. I want your company. Baby, let's just see what it do. I understand that you've been hurt. I understand that you're so confused. But know that we don't have nothing to lose. I'ma hold you down, be your protection. I just wanna cuff you like police, yeah, arrest you. Fucking with me, baby, yeah, you gon' count your blessings. If you get this hard, baby, you gon' get this weapon. I am not a baker, but I damn sure be kicking. I'm just tryna make it so that one day you say take it.